When I found out at the time before Christmas, I remember the doctor saying to me, "You know this is the best news for you now, because if you'd left it any longer, it could have been worse for you." And at the time, I thought I would have preferred to find out after Christmas or later. Now, sitting here, I'm so pleased that I found out earlier rather than later. And I'm really pleased that I did that test.
I think getting into the habit of testing frequently is a really good practice to be in. I know we've gone on for years about using condoms, and it's great if that's an option, but if you're in a long-term relationship, I don't think we should all assume that everything's always okay. And if not just for your health, for yourself, but if you're a mother, you have to think of your children.
I have a message for women, and that is please, please, please. You can go even to a GP and just say, please check me. And there is sexuality clinic, so you can go and check it. And when you go to the doctors, you can't just say, please check, I need a full medical checkup. You have to explain and say, I need to be checked HIV. Please check my HIV status, if I'm HIV or not. Yeah, so they have to look after themselves.
Certainly women who come to Australia from high prevalence countries, some of those women may have been at high risk of being exposed to HIV, and testing for those women should be considered. But not all women from high prevalence countries have HIV, of course, so we shouldn't stigmatise those women in regard to the virus either.
To get tested is like one of the methods you protect yourself. Of course, it would be good if you are negative, but if you are positive, you can know it as early as possible, and then you can go on treatment early.
Testing is just such an important aspect of, managing HIV. I know when I went to my doctor and said, look, I want you to test me for HIV, she said, Abby, you're a 24-year-old straight woman living in Australia. She's like, it's very, very unlikely. So I actually insisted on having the test in the first place. So I think that's one thing, because I didn't think it could affect me. It was just not something that was even on my radar. HIV was something that I knew existed, but it wasn't in my life. It wasn't real to me until that moment, basically, when I got that diagnosis. So one of the things that I'm so passionate about since my diagnosis is, educating other young women that this does happen. I didn't think it would, I didn't think it could, but it did, it happened to me. And I know a lot of my friends and people that I meet, when they hear about when I tell them about my status, they're like, that could have just so easily have been me.